Did you know the definition of courage is doing that one thing that you're afraid of anyway? Feeling the fear and doing it anyway. We are in our series of, and I am so excited that you are here. I am getting to meet the most amazing, resilient women on the planet through this series. For those who may not know me, my name is Bren Harris, and I am. And if you're on Instagram, let us know that you can see us over there. And we're on Facebook and YouTube. So chime in, let me know where you are. You threw a dart at the middle of the US and here in the States. I am right there, Oklahoma. And yes, we are in the NBA finals. So the energy here is electric, and I am so excited. We have a very special guest. Before we get to that, I would like to share a little bit behind the brand of the Warrior Mom. And it is not just a cute saying, it is a hard fought, hard won title. And Warrior Moms, when my son was medically injured at 22, I have sought counsel and mentoring. And let me tell you what, in the last 12 plus years, walk through hell. Now we walk through it like we own the place. Can too. Our mission right here, the Warrior Mom and the Warrior Nation, is to take water back to those still in the fire. We are now way into our journey. So just a quick sneak peek. Here's how it started. Warrior Mom at the kitchen table with a baby. And I'm telling you, we came back from Japan and stayed at a relative's house for almost 60 days. And that's where it happened. I mean, we started talking about how do we get medical professionals and educators and family and friends to listen to our health concerns. And now, fast forward today, this is one of our many medical trips out of state. This is my son now. He peers over me. He is 6'1", has very deep voice, and is starting to grow a beard. He's so cool. And I am so blessed to know him and to watch him grow through this journey of standing in the gap and expressing what courage looks like in real life. We're not talking any of this keyboard warrior stuff, courage in real life. And we have an amazing guest tonight. Please let us know in the chat where you're chiming in from. We've got Florida in the house. We've got Georgia in the house and Seattle in the house. Dallas in the house. Great to see you. And again, if you know someone who knows someone that is facing a complete battle in their life, please share this link with them so that they can be encouraged too. Our guest tonight is a true warrior and has found that we can't take our health for granted. I do not want to steal her thunder, so let's see if we can get Lisa on board here. Hey, Lisa, did you make the live?
I did. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You were frozen and I didn't hear anything. So I saw lips moving quickly.
Okay. Take two. Who is Lisa Lively?
Well, I am a divinely blessed woman, mother, wife, mother-in-law. I'm an occupational therapy assistant, and I'm a fierce advocate for all that I have in my care.
Oh, I love that because advocacy is so important. And I had no idea the meaning of that word before I became a mom or the Warrior Mom. And I love that you can advocate for your people. Now, give us a little bit of a peek behind the curtain. You're from where? You live where? Let us know where you are geographically first, and then tell us how you came to be where you are now.
Well, I'm in West Michigan, Muskegon, which is not far from Grand Rapids, for those that maybe are aware of Grand Rapids. I was born in Southern California. My dad was a Marine, but was raised in West Michigan. Then I married a military man, and we lived in our home state, across the state. Then we went to South Carolina, and then we moved to Hawaii. And that was a divine path, I have no doubt. That took me, as I made my decision to go into occupational therapy, the door flew open for us to go to Hawaii because it was a 5-year wait list in South Carolina. And I got in immediately. And it was like that was the decision I was supposed to make. And the pathway was as smooth as it could be to get there.
Oh, I love it when divine doors open.
Yes, indeed.
And you seem so well suited to that. I love that you like to think things through, whereas hey, let's have a podcast. And I just want to tell you guys, Lisa is such a trooper. I love it when people can share stories. Now, I know that we're a retired military family, so I get the divine appointments and how we are able to be where we're supposed to be when we're supposed to be. Walking out this journey, is there one thing in your life that you have really felt like courage was the only answer and to step into that calling?
Well, certainly if we look at my calling of my health journey, and, as it says on the screen, Lisa's living lively. I married a lively man. And so that has been wonderful. But my diagnosis that I finally had received in 2018 kind of shed the light on what I'd been dealing with since my early 20s. But because it is such a hard thing to figure out, and it's only becoming aware about the last 15 years, I found out that I have mast cell activation syndrome. And so that has really put me on the journey to appreciate the power of food and what it does for us or against us, because we're all victim of that standard American diet, the SAD diet. And so 40 plus years of healthcare, caring for people that have fallen victim, and I was too, but have turned my wellness around by making better choices.
I have a quick question because I am not familiar with this syndrome. For those of us who are new to that world, can you break that down for us?
So mast cells are something that we have. It's part of our immune system, and they are primarily in our respiratory system, our skin, and our digestive system are the main places. And they release histamines when they're kind of like the fire alarm, basically, of our body. So when something comes in, that histamine is released. And so people are familiar with allergic reactions to, a bee sting or some pollen this time of year, things like that. But when you have a syndrome like I do, it goes haywire. It's kind of like all the branches of the military out patrolling, but they don't know what they're patrolling for, and they're going crazy, and they're causing havoc. And because it can switch up into the respiratory, or it can be highlighted in the skin, or it could be the digestive system, it's really hard to get it pinpointed down. And that's why it takes so long to get a diagnosis. But with the growing awareness of it now, people can get help sooner. And there's a lot of people that have gotten to really severe levels and have not been as fortunate as I have to manage it with food and no drugs. And we may have lost Bren, so I'm not sure if I'm here talking myself. Technology. She did say that the weather was a problem out there, and she wouldn't be surprised if an arc was rolling down the road, but she said, hang in there, and she will reboot if that is the case. Let's see. So I'll just kind of keep talking with some of the questions that we have. So as far as having that mast cell and being only diagnosed in 2018 and 19, when I started that, here she's back.
Keep going. It's great.
Okay. So I was live. Okay. So anyways, I was diagnosed in 2018 and began with an elimination diet. So that really drew back all the foods that could be problematic and get things stabilized. And then I progressed to add in one of my non-traditional treatments, and went through that. And now I'm living a normal life, working a normal life, and not with all these common diseases that my patients have, because people think aging is, you're going to have blood pressure issues, you're going to be diabetic, kidney failure, all those things. Well, they're common, they're not normal. And I am living back in a normal life without this disease progressing and taking me down and putting me on disability.
Wow, that is amazing. And I am so excited that you have found that normal and common are very different.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you're helping other people understand this. Now, what's one of the biggest changes? I did have some technical issues, so I apologize if this is a repeat. What are some simple changes that someone can make when they find that they might suffer from this syndrome?
Well, whether it's this syndrome or it's any kind of ailment, looking at adding in more whole foods, more plant-forward diet, so that you are, having those whole foods more in their natural state versus a can of green beans. Get the fresh green beans. Those are the big things. Cutting back sugar. I always equate sugar like those of us that live in cold states with snow. When they put salt on the roads, people know that that's not good for the car. It causes rust. And you can see when the doors are about ready to fall off because they're rusting. You can't see that your body, and you want to be more proactive. So definitely cutting out sugar and reducing inflammation for my condition or any condition.
Oh, that is so that it reads easy. Sometimes it lives hard.
Correct. And
I
people,
love that.
yeah. And you just have to be dedicated to yourself. I've had people say that I'm the most dedicated person that they see with my eating styles. However, I tell them it feels good to feel great.
I don't know if you guys caught that. You can be disciplined because it feels good to feel great, regardless of the chronological number or the number on the scale or where we are in our lives. One thing I find that's so fascinating, Lisa, is you are so dedicated to this journey. What do you think contributes to that?
The results that I've had, both personally, because I was so chronically ill in 2002, I didn't even want to take a trip to Hawaii with at that time, my boyfriend, who is now my husband, because he was planning a proposal when we went. But I was so sick that I didn't want to go. But I did do some non-traditional treatments that got me over the hump. Wasn't diagnosed because, like I said, it was 2018 when I was diagnosed. But I did get a handle on it in 2002 where I could make the trip. And so being able to have those results going through and going forward to now. And then my husband's 11 years older. He's 71 years old. He's healthy. He's active. He's still working in his profession, and he doesn't take a pill for anything. And then to see my mother as well slow down the progression of her heart failure, her kidney failure, and she passed without ever having to start dialysis, even though the doctors told her 2.5 years prior she was going to have to start within 6 months. So the subtle change she made at 80 made a difference in the quality of her end years. So those are... Yeah.
I love that. The quality of our end years. We're not prolonging life just to prolong life. We're embracing that to improve quality of life.
That's huge.
That'll preach. If you're on the live, put an L. If you're on the replay, put an R. Lisa, this is deep. This is really good. And I had never heard of this until I met you. What's one thing you want people to know should they be suffering from the symptoms and not have a clue about a diagnosis?
Well, be aware that the main three systems that it affects, if you are having some chronic respiratory sinus things, I suffered with the digestive issues, the bloating, or urgent need to get to the toilet. That can be a symptom. If you have skin conditions, I lived with hives for 13 months every day, didn't know how to control it other than putting ice on my body. And I hate being cold, but I loved my ice when I was all hived up. The pictures of my skin, my face, my
Right.
arms, crazy. And then the sinus stuff. So if you're seeing these things revolve in your life, because it could be linked to that. I've talked to people at work and heard that, and I said, suggested that they go check it out. And the one was actually in a flare, the nurse, and she got diagnosed, and so now she is on a path of recovery as well with her eating habits.
And that's amazing. All these people you didn't know, you're called to help, and now you're educating them. I love it.
Yep, and people just have to be open to the idea that they can control things. All these reactions with food. It's the number one medicine cabinet you should be looking at, and not the pill bottles.
Now, you may have covered this while I was glitching on the technology side. I would love to know what a day in the life. What's a typical food diary for you in a healthy day in your disciplined eating?
Let's see, a work day. I have several years ago started with intermittent fasting. So everybody can safely do 12 hours of intermittent fasting. It lets your body clean at a cellular level. And then I have some maca root tea. I have dandelion tea, things like that I do in the morning. Lunch is usually could be a piece of fish, and then like about a third of a cup of 3 different cooked vegetables. And then my afternoon, I make a protein pudding rather than a shake. It's got MCT powder, it's got green powder, it's got the protein powder, chia seeds, and just a little crunchy chip and sunflower seed and pepita seeds. That's make like a little snack. So you got something crunchy. That's my snack. Come home and have a similar dinner like I had at lunch. And that's kind of keeping it in blocks so that you're not getting sugar spikes during the day. And we do sneak in, some ice cream or, some cookies or cake, things like that, but just not excessively.
I love that. I don't know if you guys caught that. Keep the eating in time blocks so that we're not spiking that insulin. And I love that you're getting that protein and the fiber.
Yes, watching
And the treats.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific goal for protein every day?
Well, I have done some work with like fitness trainers to kind of look at the macros. So I forget the exact number, but I'm doing about 100 grams of protein a day. So, and then I'm always looking for research to, one source said you shouldn't have more than 30 grams of protein at a meal. And then that's kind of getting debunked. So I was really kind of spreading it out so I could keep in that smaller amount. But, so that's kind of my goal.
Right. And I know people have more questions. The comments are blowing up. And I just want you to know you're not alone. We have a young woman in Dallas whose husband has with this same issue. We have another warrior mom in Illinois. Her son was diagnosed with mast cell, and I had no clue. And I just love that you are bringing all of us together and creating this awareness, because you are one of the fit people I know and most disciplined people I know. And I've been in a mastermind before, and I love getting to learn and peel back the layers of the courage you have. Now, once you were diagnosed, you said you had symptoms since the early 2000s. Is that correct?
Well, symptoms probably since my 20s.
Oh,
So
wow.
so I was kind of getting more chronic, by 30, I was taking my first pill thinking, okay, here it begins with that handful of
Mhm.
pills by the time you're 70, right?
Right.
But thyroid condition is an autoimmune disorder. So, but that's all I still take to this day, thankfully. Um, so that was progression at 30. And then with those digestive issues, mid 30s,
Mhm.
progressing the hives and stuff, 40s and 50s. And so,
Oh, that's amazing. And I know people can relate, and we think it's just normal aging and normal life. Childhood skyrocketed in the last 2 decades. Now boys are 1 in 31 on the autism spectrum. And I love that you're taking and used as medicine.
yeah,
Is
there's not,
so
there's just not enough awareness. I mean, we're just all bombarded with the main aisles in the stores with all the junk that just inflames our bodies and progresses those diseases that are so common.
Mm. Oh, mic drop, you guys. Please chime in the chat. Show Lisa some Warrior Nation love. And we would love to know, where can we find you? Do you have 2 socials or 1 social where you're most active?
Most active with this is on Instagram at Lisa Living Lively. And I have put up at least one on YouTube. I just haven't got them brought over and blended on there as well.
One suspects that they may suffer from this syndrome. What's the first step they need to take in order to get a diagnosis?
Well, certainly if they're suspecting that, is talking to the doctor, because most of the time you are diagnosed symptomatically. The only time you can really get a diagnosis with testing is if you are in the middle of a flare and they draw blood work and they're looking at tryptase levels. So if you're not in an active flare, you won't have those levels elevated. So it's looking at the symptoms and the chronic, condition, those like I had, for decades.
So much suffering, and you finally got an answer. That gives us hope. Where can people find you? Do you have a podcast coming up or any events that you could invite them to?
I currently do not, because life is a little turned upside down right now between working full time and a full basement flood and all
Oh
that
my.
entails.
Well, we
Demolition.
thank you for taking time to be with our audience and share your story. Please check out Lisa on Instagram at Lisa Living Live. And we want to thank you so much for your time, talent, and wisdom.
Thank you so much for having me and let me share my story. And I hope that people do reach out. I'm here for you.
Thank you, Lisa. Have
Thank
a
you, Bren.
beautiful evening. Guys, I am so blessed beyond measure to share these warrior stories, women of courage. It's our series, and we are meeting women that have suffered like Lisa tonight for decades. Maybe you're suffering in silence with something else. This is your tribe. Just chime in the comments. Let us know if you got value or if you can relate. Now, I have a book coming out in August at the end of the summer. I would love for you to be part of this journey at Win with Bren right there on the screen, on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. This project. And we want you to be voting on the cover. We have that coming up at the end of the month. And congratulations again to Lisa. She was one of our author photo voting winners for the winning author photo. And I want you to know, I'm Bren Harris, the Warrior Mom, and we are the Warrior Nation, your source for truth, transparency, and trust. Warriors, unite.